My God, the problems are fixed. The Nuggets are undefeated since we got rid of the winningest coach in our franchise's history, and we're headed for the NBA title. We'll break down the first stepping stone on our way to glory. The Nuggets and Clippers. Damn, play that funky music.
He picks the Clippers.
Welcome in to another episode of the Blues for Brothers. I am your host, Kyle Poland, joined, as always, by my brother, Ryan Poland. We are doing a special Denver Nuggets playoff preview. Ryan, how are you doing here? The regular season is over. It's the best time to join the podcast, to join the millions and millions of listeners enjoying this podcast weekly.
Yeah, it is the best time to join. So welcome to all of our new listeners that I'm sure we're accruing by the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's going to be an interesting time to join the podcast because we actually haven't discussed this at all. We had a lengthy chat pre-pod, as we do with producer Dan, that mostly revolved around the Rockies. So I don't know your thoughts. I'm excited to sort of hear what we had just reacted to the Malone firing, so we haven't really caught up since then.
Yep.
The Nuggets went 3-0 and looked pretty good, and including a pretty dominant win against Houston. So, yeah, I'm interested to get into this with you. It's going to be a fascinating first-round series.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. So the Nuggets, as you mentioned, they did what they needed to do to keep home court advantage. They went 3-0. They gave more effort, I think would be the main difference. They also talked about a little bit like taking the ball out of Jokic's hands. I think this is a good place to start, like in the Adelman era, I guess. Have you noticed anything style of play wise? Like I said, I've just noticed apparently Aaron Gordon is our number one option because we are pounding the rock to that fella inside. Really, he's been very aggressive, which makes sense as far as Michael Porter is actively playing for the other teams and Murray is recovering from injury. So it does make sense that we need someone to do something positive besides Jokic. But I was struck by kind of it almost felt like an old Jokic, some of those first quarters where it was like, he was like, yeah, sure, you guys can shoot for all of this time. And then he inevitably makes it up to almost 30 points just because that's what he does. But yeah, the Rockets game was the only game where Jokic, it felt like, was really aggressive. And that was also kind of the three-pointer was going down. So that always is going to bring up his total pretty quickly. So anything besides a little bit less relying on Jokic scoring than I think we saw near the end with Malone? Anything else you kind of noticed?
I think the Aaron Gordon point is really interesting because, so I guess I'll go broad first. I think the Jokic stuff is understandable given the fact that I think he sees this as sort of a testing ground. Like, it's clear that Nikola Jokic can basically do whatever he wants on a basketball court at any given time. So we don't really need to test the limits of what that looks like. I think he's testing the limits, and he's almost being intentionally passing off. What's the word I'm thinking of?
Passive.
Yeah, well, yeah, sure. He's being intentionally passive in order to sort of allow these other guys to feel comfortable in what clearly is a new role. Like,
and trying to see a shot go down before the playoffs, right?
And we're playing completely different rotations. Like, we're playing new guys together, and I think Jokic realizes that he is going to figure this out quicker than everybody else. So he's trying to get other people these touches and these moments to feel good about themselves going into what he described could be a deep run. Like, I don't think that we should take those comments lightly going into the playoffs. Uh, I do think that Jokic and everybody else feels a degree of pressure, as they should after the Kroenke press conference today, which I don't know how much we want to get into that, but I think it's an it's going to be a very interesting test case into, is there anything around Nikola Jokic? Because I think we know what Nikola is capable of. And I ran through a couple, 3 or 4 weeks ago on the podcast, the others, like everybody's so worried about our bench depth. And I ran through it in the championship year. Like, Christian Brown looks great. Aaron Gordon, like you said, has had dominant moments in the last 3 weeks when he's been healthy and looking good. Well, which is really just to say healthy. I think he's been dominant, and I think what Adelman may have realized is that you can always create a mismatch with Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, but they have Jokic in general has such an aura around him that mismatch is actually easier to create with Aaron Gordon. And if we can somehow get somebody switched onto him, it's a massive advantage. And he's a willing passer in the moment. So, like, if Jamal is cutting off of a second mismatch because Jokic set an off-ball screen, like, there's so many different types of things that we can do with that when those guys are playing well, I think we're a very dangerous team. But to me, a lot of this relies on Aaron Gordon, and he didn't have that burden when we won the championship. He was an awesome defensive player, but we really didn't need his offense because we had Jamal Murray lighting it up. And then we had, Bruce Brown off the bench having big games in the final series. Like, there were moments for everybody, but we're relying on him to be a consistent offensive force as well as our best defensive player, which, I don't know, feels like a lot. So it's yeah, that's my long-winded answer.
Yeah. I also think, like, it feels weird. So just Nuggets fans, insofar as I can tell via social media and all that stuff, they feel like they're a little bit more confident off of these 3 games in which we played the Grizzlies, who just ran out of gas in a back-to-back, but were ahead of us for most of the game. We beat a Kings team on the road that we let a double-digit lead get down to 4. And if not for some timely shots down the stretch, we could have easily lost that game. And then the Rockets game was good. It appeared that the Rockets were trying to win that game for reasons that are not immediately clear to me. I was joking. I was like, after halftime, I was like, should the Nuggets try to lose this game now?
Yeah.
Be like, hey, you know who we'd actually like to play first? You guys. We'd like to play you.
You guys are trying. Ime.
Yeah, okay.
Ime, you're trying to win? Okay. Yep. We're going to need
for a quick one-off.
Trey Alexander. Trey, get in the game, buddy. You're playing 35 minutes.
Yeah. PJ, this is a time to showcase why Booth brought you here. All right. We would love to see some PJ Hall minutes. Yeah. But so it feels really confident. Vegas is not fooled. The 2 most likely results for this are Nuggets in 7, which is plus 410, or Clippers in 6. The series thing, they don't want you to bet on this series. It's Clippers minus 1.5 is like plus, whatever. And so that's if you win in 6. And then the Nuggets one is plus whatever. And then the Nuggets one is minus $1 million, so they don't want you to take that for the Nuggets.
The series line flipped too.
Yeah.
I was listening to the Bill Simmons podcast last night and I was up late, couldn't sleep. And they were talking about this line and it's already moved huge. Like the Nuggets were pretty big favorites when it opened, which was shocking to me.
Yeah.
And it's like an even series. And the other part of this that we haven't talked about on the other side of this matchup is that the Clippers have looked like maybe the best team in the West for the last 20 games. Like
Yeah, let's just
they've
get
looked
into it.
fucking awesome.
Yep.
They're terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get into it. So the Clippers, as you mentioned, since Kawhi came back, it's something that I heard that is absolutely wild. The Clippers were a pretty good defensive team all year. Kawhi actually doesn't add that much to their defensive rating, but offensively, they're over 12 percentage points better with him in there. It's a bigger difference than even Jokic. Like, obviously, a smaller sample size, but it is wild just what adding that level of scorer does, right? Um, so let's just go down this starting lineups first. So Chris Dunn starts at point guard. This guy was a former lottery pick, and is big, but I think he's not the like physical kind of player that we saw Jamal Murray really bothered by in the Timberwolves series. Like he's really athletic, and he's long. Like he can absolutely bother Jamal Murray's shot, but he is not going to be doing the Nickeil Alexander-Walker, the oh my gosh, I'm spacing his name now. The guy who just pounded Murray for Minnesota. The other guy starts. Oh, Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah.
He's not going to play like that physical where he's like, hey, if you want to call this a foul, I'm going to foul out of this game. If you don't, I am going to use this to the utmost ability, right? So they have Chris Dunn versus Jamal Murray. I guess let's start there. What did you think of Jamal Murray? Obviously, down the clutch in that Memphis game, had some really big shots to close it out, was 3 of 10 heading into that. The three hasn't looked great. Like the shot hasn't looked amazing, but he did get 3 games to knock rust off. And he did cross the absolute shit out of 2 people, one in the Memphis game and one in that Rockets game. And down the stretch of that Memphis game, obviously showed just the weaponry that still is the Murray Jokic pick and roll, especially with teams selling out to stop Jokic more. Like he's just like, okay, I will walk into threes or I will walk into a 15-footer uncontested here. Where do you kind of see? Do you think Chris Dunn can cause the kind of problems? What do you see the matchup here?
I think it's not just Chris Dunn that worries me. It's the amount of options that they potentially have outside of Chris Dunn to throw at him. Like, if he gets hot, they could just put Kawhi on him. And I think that's a real problem. So I think it's
Well, you
Jamal.
have to go big there then. And Batum is hurt right now. He could be back for the series, like he could just be resting. But right now, like then, like, are you putting Chris Dunn on AG? It feels like that's what you want if you're the Nuggets, or are you
Yeah.
trying to hide him on Porter? Like,
No, I
it
think, I
becomes some
mean,
mismatch things there if Chris Dunn can't do this.
yeah, it kind of. I mean, you could put Harden on him. He's been spot defender, not terrible in moments.
On
Uh,
who?
well, playoffs.
On
I
Murray?
mean, no, 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 not on Murray.
Oh, I was like, good God, Ryan,
I
please
just mean
report
throughout
this
his
and send this to
career,
Ty Lue. That's a good
he's
strategy, Ty.
he's
You mean on
put.
Gordon? Because I agree, Harden's
Yeah, yeah,
strong, and
yeah,
he's kind of incognito, like you said, like not bad in that post to where you
yeah.
can kind of get tricked if you're the
He's
Nuggets to being
sneaky.
like, "There's a guard down there," and Harden's like,
He's
"All I do is eat wings at the strip club. I'm not moving."
he's a smart player. So
Got good
he's
hands.
hands, like he knows what little move you're gonna try to do.
Yeah,
Like it's those type of things that I. So I guess my confidence level in Murray is basically 0 at this point. Like I don't think you could tell me that he comes out and averages 25 in this series, and I wouldn't be shocked. And you could also tell me that he averages 12 points, and I wouldn't be shocked. I think Jokic is on a level where he could make up for either of those scenarios. Like he
But
could do.
25, you would predict the Nuggets. If I just
Yeah.
I gave you no other information, but I said, hey, however many games this goes, Jamal Murray averages 25.
Oh,
You'd
I
say, okay, well, we're playing
Nuggets,
the Lakers or Timberwolves.
Nuggets in 5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I just don't think that he hasn't played enough games and he hasn't been consistent enough in even the long stretches that he's played. He did look pretty good before this last injury.
Is the best stretch
I
he played.
I don't know like how much of this coming back. Like if Michael Malone was still the coach, do you think Murray would be coming back right now? I
Sure
don't
didn't
I don't
sound
know
like it.
the answer to that question, and to me that's extremely worrying. So I think if Jamal has a bad playoffs, he's first on the chopping block this summer. It's not close. I think his market's the best. And if you're going to blow this up, if you're going to change something drastic, you want something that you're going to get value for. And I think Murray has by far the most value because he's an incredible player. Like, I
I
I
think
think that there's a real argument that you could make that he is helped like everybody else by having Nikola Jokic on his team. And to be honest with you, as a Nuggets fan, I'm completely willing to see what the Nuggets look like without Jamal Murray this summer. Uh, Basically, no matter what happens, we could win the fucking championship, and I would still be looking at it like, I don't know, man. Is your value potentially really high right now? And anybody can set a screen for fucking Nikola Jokic and roll to the basket and potentially make a layup? Like, I don't know. I think there are a lot of players in the team that could do that.
Yeah, it's the thing with Murray that really hurts him is just availability. Because even if he underperforms in some games or is inconsistent, if you're just out there a good amount, like I think I brought it up on the last podcast, but if I didn't, listen to Low, and he was just talking about with the CBA, like you can't have max players just missing most of the season. He's like, it's too strict. Like you're gonna underachieve if that happens. And
And
so
the thing that's
if
especially
you do that
worrying,
and then get locked up by Chris Dunn,
yeah.
it's hard to justify this max money, right?
Yeah. No, and I think the especially worrying part to me about the entire ecosystem of how this is set up right now is that it used to be kind of Jamal's MO that he was a tough as shit, where like, he's whatever shooting barefoot in the Canadian winters and all these the
Running
lore of
uphill.
Jamal,
Yeah.
all those things. A, tough as shit, and B, an incredibly hard worker. And to be honest with you, I don't know that I see the points in his game that show either of those traits anymore. And granted, he has had a fucking nightmare of injuries, and I myself know that one injury begets another, and it sort of can start to snowball in a way that doesn't help you. Like, you can't really ever get on top of anything because you're always sort of dinged up. So I'm not saying that he's not a hard worker. I'm not saying that he's,
Yep.
not tough. I'm just saying that at some point you have to look at the body of work and say, like, we have all of the information. Like, obviously the Nuggets know way more than us, but like, as a very educated fan, I'm kind of done watching it. And I think, I honestly think he might benefit from it as well.
Yeah.
So,
So it sounds like not super hopeful there.
yeah,
This is a
considering
matchup,
we divulged into talking about trading, I
right?
don't think
I
either of
think
us are super.
I think your key point there, as far as like immediate, like this series, is Jamal Murray has to force Ty Lue to adjust, right? Like he has to say, "Hey, our 2-man game with Jokic," and like you said, he gets a little benefit from that, right? Like teams have been very openly not trying to let him pocket pass it to Jokic. They are going to live with him walking into 15 and 17 footers. And so if he knocks those down and they have to say, hey, you know what? I don't think Chris Dunn is physical enough. I think we're going to have to do something else. That creates other things for people. And even if his numbers go down as a result, that to me is a win in the series for the Nuggets, right? Because, like you said, there is a world in which the Clippers take a book out of the Lakers handbook and say, hey, we are going to put Kawhi Leonard on Jamal Murray. You come set this pick, and we are just going to switch it, right? We have this other guy, and we're going to say, that's fine with us. Right now we have Kawhi in there. He can play a little more physical. He's going to get a little superstar whistle there, right? Like all that stuff. And Jamal Murray has to make them at least show that, or at least put those miles on Kawhi or on Norm or on these shooters that they have. Also, I too have been listening to podcasts, and the Clippers give up threes at a very bad rate. Now, the Nuggets
We
don't
don't
shoot a
shoot
lot
it.
of threes.
So that's good.
But that means that if they are going to go under, or if they are going to, give a little extra help against Jokic to let Murray, we can't have a bad shooting series from Murray or Porter, right?
No.
Like that's just a death nail for us. We're not going to be able to score enough points at that point, and the defense is going to be so packed in with big, long, athletic wings that it's going to then become very difficult, right?
Yeah.
So Jamal Murray is a key in a lot of ways. I think we've covered it as best we can. Second one, we got Christian against James Harden. Harden has early in the season, these teams haven't played in a long time, to the point where like the Nuggets have never played against Kawhi this season. And
you can't look at the season.
Yeah, like
at all.
But
It's useless.
Harden did absolutely flambe Christian in some of these matchups. And it was early in the season, and we talked about it on this podcast, Christian's screen navigation, and just like he was trying to just like be a physical presence all the time. And you're like, hey, you can't do that when you're just consistently guarding the best player. Like there's a difference between being off the bench energy guy, like I'm just going to be physical, I'm going to run around, it's like, no, there's some nuance to this at this level. And James Harden taught him that. But one time very clearly in Ball Arena. So to me, this is the hardest matchup for the Nuggets. Christian on an island has not been great as far as guys that just like navigate screens, stepping back, all that kind of stuff. He's gotten better as time goes on. The second thing is, as much as we praised Harden for his quick hands, his IQ, he is absolutely still a lazy defender and will take risks and all those things. Christian Braun cuts and Christian Braun runouts and making him work on the other end are going to be important things. If we think this series is going to go long, we have seen James Harden in series that were not played at a mile high in altitude wear down and look like absolute poop, and thus has a reputation for absolutely shitting the bed in the playoffs, right? And that was when it was MVP James Harden, 5-6 years ago.
He's never been good. He's never been good in the playoffs, ever.
No. Their most famous comeback came with him on the bench. Like, he was on the bench, and they came back against that Chris Paul Clippers team to knock them out. Like, that's probably his best playoff win, and he wasn't there. So I do think it's important that Christian does not just spot up and let James Harden rest on defense. He has to cut. He has to work hard. He has to do those things. And I think that he's also going to be a key screener. I think you're going to see a lot of, and this is another thing, these teams, they are going to hunt switches, right? So even outside of the Christian is going to get switched. And if we are going to let them pick, Jamal Murray or Porter every time, it's not going to be good, right? Like, and by the same token for them, if we get Christian setting picks for Jamal Murray and they let us put James Harden in these pick and rolls with Zubac, a Zubac James Harden pick and roll, I don't know what the stats are going to be out of it, but I would bet they're going to be astronomically bad for the Clippers. They do not want that switch on a consistent basis without like a trap or a thing, right? Same thing with us for Porter against Harden especially. That is death for the Nuggets to let him one-on-one work against Porter. It's going to be very bad. So I think these are two guys that could have some real ups and downs in this series as far as like there's absolutely a game where James Harden is going to be close to 50 points. There is absolutely going to be a game where Christian Brown just has some key cuts, maybe some threes knocked down, and we're going to see the classic like Christian Brown flex, yell, all that good shit. And maybe Harden misses a few, and it's going to be oh my God, playoff James, Christian's eating him up, blah, blah, blah. So I think this is going to be like you have to just stay steady if you're a Christian and understand like your role on this team is to make James Harden work as hard as humanly possible on both ends.
I was
And as
just
long
about
as
to
you do
say,
that,
yeah.
sometimes the shots are going to go, sometimes they are not. But you can't let your role become like, well, they're going to leave me open for three. That's ridiculous. Yeah, they are going to leave you open for three, dude. You're the rotation guy. Absolutely, they are.
It's one of those things where I think if this is where the coaching thing really comes into it. Like, if Adelman sits Christian down and says, listen, I'm going to put you on an island in game one against James Harden, and you are probably going to get roasted because James Harden is a top 10 scorer of the last 25 years. Like, that guy can put the ball in the bucket like nobody else. What I need you to do is, number one, do not foul him. Do not give him the cheap sweep through and one. Do not give him any of that bullshit because we cannot afford to have you in foul trouble. So do not give that to him. Any other bucket that you make hard is a good bucket. Don't worry about it. Don't let it affect you on the other end. The other thing that I need you to do is run your ass off.
Yeah.
Get down, go in transition. You're the number two finisher in the league in fast break this year. Like, go make James Harden's fat ass run up and down the floor and hope that we hurt his hamstring. Like,
and over time, those threes are going to come up
because
short at altitude.
Yeah, because I think if you're the Nuggets, like if you're the Clippers, I think you're looking at the series and saying, if we can shut down Jamal Murray, we have a really good chance to win this series. Because you're not stopping Jokic. They know that. And I think if you're the Nuggets, you're saying, if we stop James Harden, or if we stop Kawhi Leonard, or at least slow him down a little bit, we have a pretty good chance. Like, if this runs through James Harden, we feel okay about that. Like, I would much rather have James Harden have the series in his hands than Kawhi Leonard. So I think that's the way you're forcing him as the Nuggets. And it's pretty reliant on Christian being able to not foul and make it as difficult as possible. So I couldn't agree with your analysis more there. I think it's a very key matchup. And I think Christian has done a very good job of feeling the moment in the threes that he's taking, where I feel like he's passing up threes that it's like, wow, that was really smart. Like, a year ago, Christian would have taken that because he's open, but there's 15 seconds on the shot clock, and like, we can have Jokic touch the ball one more time. Yeah. And he recognizes that happening in game flow now at a much higher rate, which has been great to see. Like, I think to me, Christian has proven that he is like very much capable of replacing what KCP was doing. KCP was a 12-year veteran by the time he got to that team. Like, what are we expecting of CB at this point? Like, I think his expectations in replacing that role have been super high. And I think he's done a decent job of replicating what he's done. Like, I mean, the most improved player stuff is sort of bullshit, I think. But like, I don't understand what the award is, I guess. That's why I'm saying that. But like,
he's improved a lot. His numbers are a lot better.
They were showing it on the broadcast the other night. And I'm like, yeah, he got like almost double the minutes and scored almost double the points. Like, I don't know what the fuck you want me to be impressed by necessarily, but I just like he's stepped into that role very capably, and I think that's
Yep. I
exciting
think
for the
this is
future because he's on a pretty good contract. So
yep. This is though this is a really important I mean, like you said, I think you could probably say that for every Nugget uh, here, but I think this is really important for Christian of like, were you kind of a regular season merchant where you were like, I'm just going to run every time, and some guys aren't going to feel like doing that on a Wednesday, and so I'm going to get 10 dunks, and that's that. Like, or are you a guy who is going to think and execute and make people work hard even when people are giving full effort? And two, for as crafty as James Harden is not these small guards that sometimes we ask Christian to chase around, where he's like, for fuck's sake, dude. Like
he's not going to
I
be
am,
blowing by you.
yeah, like
He's got that
Harden
Luka
is
game.
crafty. He's really
Yeah,
smart, and you have to be really, but it's not physical tools wise a harder matchup than like say if we had Ja or
it's
Steph where
physical.
he's having to
He's
chase
going to be
them around.
flopping the fuck into you every
Yeah,
4 minutes and be getting wild calls that
yeah,
I know I'm going to be upset already.
yeah,
I know on Saturday I'm going to say some very hurtful things from
yeah.
section 372, row 9, seat 3.
Yeah.
And they are going to, uh,
They're gonna try to hurt feelings.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they're not going to hear me, but I will be saying hurtful things. So
You're gonna try. All right, let's go to the small forward matchup. This is the matchup of two guys who are never going to guard each other. I mean, maybe in like some rotations, like depending on who comes in. But uh, Michael Porter Jr., who we're apparently just the Denver leaky Nuggets. For some reason, the report leaks that our owners love that he went to Missouri for 10 games
well,
and
Cronky
made
very
him
much
made him
refuted that.
untradeable. Like,
Cronky tried to refute it in the press conference. Did you watch the press conference at
yeah,
all?
I did. I'm just saying, like, can we stop leaking shit right before the playoffs? And hey, Cronky, we don't need a fucking press conference here. Have the press
Oh, I
conference
think
at the end of the season.
he definitely needed to.
For what? Because
Because
you decided to fire a guy, so we've had nothing but nonstop leaks and news. Oh, you needed to
yes,
address a problem you created.
yes,
Welcome to
he
the
did.
tariff plan.
Yes,
Ryan's
he
like,
did.
thank God Trump repealed him. That guy, he needed to do that. Yeah, just don't do stupid things in the beginning.
No,
All
I
right.
don't think it was
I don't want to
stupid.
go down that road. But
I don't think it was stupid. I'm on Josh's side here.
boy, well, we're gonna see what old Josh is cooking.
He admitted he should have done it earlier.
Yeah, great. I'm so happy. Um, the but we have Porter, who has been actively trying to lose
I
games
think I'm on
against Kawhi.
Josh's side. I think I'm on Josh's side because we came to the conclusion around the same time. When I started shitting on Malone on the podcast, it almost perfectly aligns with when he was thinking about firing them, and then they went on that 8-game win streak.
When he's thinking about doing something good bosses should do, we should give him credit for it, dude. He was thinking about it.
He literally admits
This is
in
the
the
equivalent of like when teams are like, you know who we were going to take if Giannis fell one more pick? We had him on our board, dude. Oh my god, dude! If Jokic would have fallen to the next pick after the Taco Bell commercial, God, that guy was number one on our board.
I
Like,
actually kind of respected it because
in theory,
if
this
you read
decision
between the
is the
lines,
greatest.
if you read between the lines of what he said, he's basically like, yeah, I did not give a shit enough about this massive franchise in Denver that we own with the best player in the world. It's kind of on me. Like, I didn't care enough. I wasn't interested enough. And I should have seen this, but I didn't. I didn't.
By the way, it's
And
also the biggest falsehood. Everyone, when they got the team, was like, "Oh, Josh is going to run this. He's a huge basketball guy. He actually thinks he knows basketball."
Yeah, but
So now we're
he's
just
talking
hoping.
about Arsenal or whatever the fuck in the press conference. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. We don't care that your soccer team won the same day that you fired the coach and the general manager of the team with the best fucking player. Like, it was, I get why people are frustrated. I just also understand, and I think that it worked. Like, all right, let's keep going in this. I'll shut the fuck up and we can talk about let's
I'm
talk
glad.
about Mike.
I'm glad you
Um
criticized him. That's enough for me. You said one mean thing about him, and that's enough. All right. So Porter,
he
Kawhi.
can go kick rocks, dude. He should hire me to run the team. Like, I'm right here. I'm sitting here, Josh. I've got an MBA. I didn't go to Mizzou, but I did go to some wineries once that were outside of St. Louis in the Missouri side, and it was wonderful. It was an amazing
Wonderful.
time. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And so if you are looking for somebody to be a GM. Like, I'm right here.
Yeah.
I'm right here.
Ryan also won't actively leak things consistently negative about your
No.
team or players. It'll be fine. He also won't tell the whole NBA who he's going to draft 2 months before the draft. All right. Porter, Kawhi.
So Porter, to me,
We don't want Porter on anyone
anybody.
who's going to shoot potentially.
No. We don't want Porters on anybody. I think the Porter has not been playing well offensively. He's been rebounding the ball pretty well, which is going to be important in this series because they're long and rangy and crafty. Even Harden on the offensive boards is a bitch. So, like, we're gonna
Just
need him to rebound the ball because he's 6'11". Like, he's goddamn 7 feet tall. He should be able to rebound the ball.
yeah.
I don't trust him on the offensive end right now, but he's going to have the best matchup on the court. When he walks down on the other side, he's going to be insulted by who they put on him. And he should be, unless it's Nicholas Batum, I guess, because that guy's actually kind of the perfect matchup. But Mike should be able to get past him at 90 years old for Nicholas.
Here's my question for you.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you just rather hide James Harden on Michael Porter Jr. than Christian? Michael's a worse cutter. He's not going to work as hard. He's more than happy to just stand at the 3-point line. Porter is a worse screener. Like, it just feels like Porter, you can hide, like, even say they need to go somebody else from Dunn. Can't you just hide Dunn on him? Like, what? Porter's going to go post up? Like, we haven't seen him do it all season. He has no reps with it. I've seen him make like some kind of impressive like little floaters over smaller guys, or like he's looked very comfortable just turning around and shooting in the paint. But like that, our offense just isn't run like that. To where it's interesting because Kawhi is probably going to end up like on AG, and Porter, we're going to try to put him on Norman Powell?
Yeah.
Question mark?
Yeah, for sure.
It feels like that. Norman Powell has also lit up the Nuggets.
Yeah, always.
And Porter,
that guy loves lighting us up.
I had to hold myself back in the Memphis game from just texting every 2 minutes. Porter is trying to lose the game. We had Porter on freaking oh my god, who's the white guy who all he can do is shoot threes? For Memphis, Luke, I think is his first name.
Cornette,
is that it? It's something like that. Anyway, all he can do is shoot spot up threes. He is only in the game because he literally got DNP'd the night before, and they know that we're stupid defensively. So they're like, you know who will leave a guy open who's only like, there was a possession where Porter didn't help on anything and still was just too far away from Luke, one pass away, that he just got the ball and shot it. And I was like, good Lord, he's trying to lose. Porter has been horrendous defensively. You saw Jokic get frustrated at him multiple times in the Houston game when he just was not rotating, not making any effort. And
I think there's
been broke as hell.
I think there's a good chance he gets benched in this series because Peyton Watson is such a better option at that position for this matchup. Like, I think there's a very real chance that when Adelman looks down the bench, because Adelman is not getting this job. Like, he's just not. So there's really no reason for him not to just be like, I don't actually care about this relationship that much. Like,
Well, and like the
I'm going to
only way he
sit you
gets this
because
job
we're going to
is to go
lose if I play
super
you.
far. Yeah,
We're
like
going
the
to
only
lose
way
if I
Adelman
play
gets
you.
it is going super far, right? So to
And
your point,
even then, honestly, like
if you made it to
if
the Western Conference Finals, he's getting hired. Josh Kroenke was like, you know what? I was a genius and knew that we should get rid of Malone, but we won 8 meaningless games against teams from the Eastern Conference. So can't overcome that data
he
point.
did literally
If
say
we
that too.
if we win against back-to-back series against the Clippers and probably the Lakers with Luka Doncic,
No, it'd be
Adelman is
the
getting that.
Thunder, wouldn't it?
No. Oh, yeah, you're right. The Thunder. Yeah.
Yeah.
If we beat the number one team with the highest point differential and we beat the Clippers, yeah, he's probably keeping his job. But I wanted to bring that up. By the way, Kawhi, weird. By the way, I watched obviously that Warriors Clippers game. Kawhi was unbelievable in the first half. And then like weird how many possessions he just like doesn't touch the ball. And then, they go to him at the end to shoot like the shots and he can still do it and it's okay. But like, I don't know. It's just odd to me how like kind of the flow of this offense where it feels like they're still trying to reintegrate Kawhi in terms of they still play basically around James Harden as a creator. And neither one of them is incredibly impactful when they don't have the ball in their hands, right? Like it's not like Kawhi was moving all over the place or like setting screens or doing, like you said, some of the things that Jokic can do off ball to make it like, oh, it's still a pain in the ass to guard him, even if it's not him trying to get a shot for himself. And even without touching the ball, like it can still be a pain in the ass and you have to solve some of those things, right? So I guess that's my opinion on Kawhi. Do you have anything to add on Kawhi? It feels like AG has done about as good of a job on him as you can. He's a little bit below his averages when he's played against AG. We traded for AG to cover him and LeBron and KD at the time. That's why they went and got him. And it feels like the AG bully ball is not happening versus Kawhi. And anytime, I swear to God, run one ISO post up for him against Kawhi, I'm going to run off of the stadium balcony. So please, God, don't do that. But that's kind of my Kawhi thought. I think he neutralizes some post up things for us outside of a switch. I think he provides them a weapon to, like you said, go on Jamal. Because Jamal's not like a quick guard or something like that. He can use his physicality and he won't just absolutely get put under the rim by Jokic immediately on that switch. Like he'll need help, but he can play physically and hopefully start that post up high enough up that you can help with others.
I think
And then
I
he's just
think the
unbelievable mid range. What do you
I
think?
think the AG matchup is actually pretty tough for Kawhi, and I think it's the one opportunity that I think being able to match Kawhi physically is sort of rare in that like AG's not going to stop everything. Like Kawhi is too good of a shot maker. He's too good with a hand in his face playing perfect defense to be held to 15 points. Like that's not going to happen in this series, but I think AG can really make his life difficult, and I think that's the key to the series, honestly. Because if he can't guard him, or if Kawhi
Right.
is getting off, or they're setting up their actions, which I think Ty Lue is one of the best coaches in the league, and I think that's a huge mismatch in this series. And I think it's probably why I am not feeling super positive about the series outlook. But I think Kawhi being able to stay healthy is a question mark. And I think Kawhi being able to get off in the same ways that he's been getting off against someone like Aaron Gordon, who's unique to the league in how he can guard him. Like, he's almost, if you could build somebody to guard Kawhi Leonard, it would look an awful lot like Aaron Gordon.
Yep.
And so if AG is healthy and that both of those things have been, Kawhi and AG have both been pretty.
Whose hamstring is going to explode first, baby?
Yeah. And I don't know. It's fascinating.
Okay. Now let's get back to that Porter side of it. Is there any world where you see, because over the course of his Nuggets career, Porter has absolutely had stretches where he has played like unbridled dog shit. And then he just says sorry to Malone and just tries hard the next game and makes like 7 threes. And to your point, is attacking the offensive glass and is out there. And then we'll just play good for 3 games. And then he'll go back to disappearing. Like, it feels like, for me at least, if you can get a consistently good Murray, you know what you're getting from Jokic. And if 3 out of the 6 or 7 games that I think this series will go, if you can get Porter to be your guy, I think you feel okay about that. I think you say, hey, you know what? Maybe Christian gets out for one. Maybe AG gets some switches or some things that get him going. Like, he doesn't need to be our third wheel every night, but I think less than 3, where he's being someone that they're like, hey, you know who we're not helping off of? Swear to God, if you leave MPJ in a rotation, you're just going to come sit next to me. Like, we need him to do that 3 times and not just be actively attempting to win the game for the other team, like on defense. Do you think he has that in him at this stage? Because he's the only one who the vibes check has not gotten any better. Post Malone.
No, I don't think it's going to get better. I don't trust him to be there at all, honestly. I think offensively you can't trust him. And
I gave you over under 1 game, and I said Peyton Watson starts and MPJ's like beginning of the game. Do you think it would get to that point?
No,
no. Yeah, no.
It'd have to be really bad. Norman Powell would have to have like 35 points for game 1 and game 2. But I could see it being a very short leash in a way that it wasn't. Malone would get pissed off all the time, but he'd still play him. So it's I think that there will be a short leash, especially if he's not shooting well. Like, that's always been sort of the reason he's been able to stay on the floor despite his obvious defensive weaknesses, is that he's always shot the shit out of the ball. And at some point that really matters. And
we've always kind of played at least some guys who can't shoot at all. So it's like,
well, and honestly, he's kind of been the most consistent 3-point shooter in the last 3 years. Maybe notwithstanding this year, because it's fucking Nikola Jokic for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we got AG.
Can we talk about how stupid that is? Nikola Jokic is our best 3-point shooter. Shoot me.
I mean, the percentage of shooting, it's not bad to have that be the best percentage on your team, but it is surprising that that's that. AG Norm Powell. Maybe I should have put Norm in the 3 slot to talk about him there. I just thought this kind of made more sense. But Norm got off to a great start. They were really advocating for him as an all-star. Obviously, since Kawhi's gotten back, he's seen a way reduced role. I think that's always hard on players who are used to kind of like the first half of the season. It was green light Norm, because it was like, well, like either Harden is going to get Zubac a dunk or get himself something. And if he's kicking it out to you, that's probably not the worst thing for our offense if you let that thing fly, if someone's not right there on you. And now he's having some issues, shall we say, with that. he's still an insanely dangerous player for me, especially the amount of just off rotation threes that the Nuggets give up if you make their defense work. AG has been, like I said, hyper aggressive. He's been really good at shooting the three since he came back this most recent time. Hasn't been as good. We've seen some air balls. That Memphis game, it was pretty painful to watch him shoot threes. He knocked down. He got a few to fall against Houston that I thought was good for his confidence going in. But to me, this is a Christian has to be the cutter, has to be the move around, has to be the get guys to switch. AG has to make that corner three or that walk into the that walk into above the break 3-pointer, that step into that. He's got to make that. And then, like you said, he's going to have the hardest defensive assignment there. I guess I'll ask this question and then you can kind of go wherever else you want to go about those two players. But I'm interested. Basically, we've run AG as our backup big in the playoffs traditionally. It's just we cut DJ out of the rotation, we cut Najee out. But then that means we have to sub him early, and that means Kawhi Leonard is going to be out there. And like then if you're keeping Porter out there, now you got Peyton Watson can only guard, it becomes a little bit tough. I think the physicality of Kawhi becomes hard for Peyton, even though he has the length. And
It's Zeke.
Christian is a little bit too small. Zeke hasn't played in 3. I don't think there's any way this man is in the playoff rotation. I don't think he gets a single minute in this series, barring like wild foul trouble or. But I think our planned rotation is probably Russ, Watson, and
Straw.
I think it's concerning. We haven't seen him the last few games. I wonder if he tweaked something. I mean, can you play
He's
Pickett
been fine
this series? I don't think Pickett. I think Pickett's too small of a guard for this series. But so in that way, to your point, somebody's got to play. You can't play 7, right? On a night.
I mean, and Zeke is just big. He's a big body. He'll try hard defensively. It's not going to be great, but
foul, though. Good Lord,
yeah,
is he going to jump at everything?
Don't put him on Harden. Good Lord, don't.
No. But even so, it's just interesting to me. Do you think we'll see that? Or I mean, the other guy is you could roll DJ out there and say, you know what, we're going to eat a few minutes with DJ, and that's what we have to do. He's going to have a much shorter leash because it's the playoffs, so we have to buy less minutes. And then maybe we can do some small ball stuff. Maybe we can do some stuff for the other, 2 minutes we're trying to buy. But it feels to me like that Aaron Gordon center thing and guarding Kawhi and having legs to make it from an NBA 3-point range is asking a lot of Aaron Gordon. And if he does it, MPJ should give him some money.
I worry about this a lot. I just don't think there's a good solution here. And I don't think, especially in this matchup and the way that they've been playing, I think this presents the biggest problem. The only hope is in the last matchup that we haven't talked about, which is Jokic and Zubac. And I think the only hope there is that we get Zubac in foul trouble early. Like, we have to pound him with Nikola Jokic. They've left him on an island in the past. They probably are going to again. Like, I think every team kind of wants to turn Nikola into a scorer because they think that that's the way that they get our team out of rhythm, and they're not wrong. Like, if he takes a bunch of shots, other guys don't get their touches, blah, 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 blah. But if we can get him into foul trouble early, they don't have a backup center. Like, there's nobody on their roster. There's 0 people. So we're talking about Ben Simmons territory. Like,
Yeah, it's Drew Eubanks, to be clear, um, who
Yeah.
is
I don't think
listed
we're
as a
seeing.
power forward, and so is going to be a little light, shall we say, in the post there.
Yeah, I don't. They don't have a good option there. So as poor as our matchups are everywhere else, that's the big one glaring weakness in their little plan that they've got cooked up here. So uh, I don't know. I'm kind of weirdly confident. Um,
Okay. Let's
but I
let's go into this. Let's go into this Jokic thing because I think there's this myth that I've heard when I've been listening to all these podcasts. So like people are like, Zubac has done a pretty good job on Jokic. If you look at it, like Jokic, the last time, so he only played 30 minutes one time. We absolutely smacked them after the wildfires. It wasn't a real game. But the last time it was 28, 14, and 11. The time before that, he scored. Um, 17-10 in like 40 minutes. Like, I don't know, 22, 15, 10. Over those last 20 games, he has 26 and a half, 13.2, and 7.8 rebounds. Zubac isn't stopping him. Okay. Like, Zubac, if they leave him one on one, they are saying what the Timberwolves said, which is it's better for Jokic to score 50 than to have double digit assists. And I
yeah,
think you're 100% correct that is better. But it does take a toll on a guy like Zubac. The thing that the Clippers have that some of these other teams, like Jokic has realized with some of these teams, like Memphis, I thought he did a masterful job of it, where he just said, okay, I'm going to pull this big out of the paint. And then we are going to be able to attack you with our guards in there. And this guy is not good at moving his feet or helping off or being able to recover when I just attack him off the dribble from the 3-point line. I also don't think Zubac would be good at that. The difference is that they just have so many physical big guys inside that they'll just be like, you know what? If you want to attack us off the dribble at Kawhi Leonard and Norman Powell and Derek Jones Jr. and Ben Simmons, like, God bless, dude. Go ahead, Christian. Right? Go ahead, those guys. But I think Jokic is absolutely going to eat here. And the interesting thing for me is the Jokic defense. We've noticeably seen him a lot more aggressive these last 3 games. Like in his at the level, he always wants to play high. Like he doesn't want to sink because his hands are notably like the best part of his game. And like he knows he can't like jump with guys. So if a guy has a half a step on Jokic, you can just throw it at the rim and it's probably going to be a dunk, right? So he wants that pass to have to come high and then make these big guys make decisions from the free throw line while he's coming back to recover and can get his hands on play balls and all that good stuff. So I think we're probably going to try to just high trap on any pick that he gets put into here with Harden and Zubac. And it's going to be very interesting to me to see how much Zubac can exploit because he is going to get a lot of times if we don't get the steal. It's not going to be forever, but he's going to be playing 4-on-3 with decision making, right?
mm-hmm.
And if Zubac can make the right decision a lot of the times, they are going to get very good shots. We've shown that in our rotation. And if he can't, or if
Dunks
Jokic can
even.
make it float enough that he can get back and we can do all that stuff, if they want to play one-on-one with Zubac and Jokic at the free throw line, God bless them, I say. There's going to be some 15-footers that go down. I'm not saying he can't score or he doesn't have like a nice little hook shot. But if it comes down to a one-on-one matchup between Zubac and Jokic, and that's where both of our offenses are going through, this is going to be a very short and very bad series for the Clippers. To your point, Ty Lue's very smart. I don't think he's going to let that happen. But I think it is worth noting that a lot of those Harden really good games were like very soft help from Jokic or like no trap. Like he's going to be up there doing the goofy Jokic thing. He's going to kick the ball if you try to put it down there. Like you are going to have to put Zubac in a decision-making thing. And that's something where I do think if the other guy is on the other end scoring 40, it's hard to stay level-headed. and be like, yeah, I'm gonna make the right choice here and not get sped up and not be like, crap, now he's gonna score. He just scored on me. Now I had a turnover. Oh crap, like I got to play more aggressive. And then to your point, if he gets in foul trouble, it is a dark, dark time.
We want Ben Simmons out there as much as possible. However we can get that man on the floor, we want that to happen. So whoever needs to get in foul trouble, let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. Bench wise, we have Boggy, Amir Coffey, Derek Jones, and Ben Simmons. I like the 9 that, to your point, I think they would probably want to play. They could buy some minutes with Eubanks, obviously, especially if we're playing like Gordon. They could try to go small with that and buy some minutes there. And I think they definitely have an advantage over us with that bench unit. Just Boggy by himself is better than anyone we're going to put out there. But as far as like, once again, running is the name of the game for our guys. Like in the open floor, Russ can absolutely make things happen. In the half court, it is going to be painful to watch. Like those 3 minutes that we're going to sit Jokic are going to feel like 30 because it's going to be tough. To your point, I mean, Strother, like I said, he didn't play the previous 2. I don't know if the hamstring's still bothering him, but pretty hard ask here to come out and chase Boggy around smartly and also to shoot threes. It looked very broke the one game he did play. It's going to be tough. I think bench goes to Clippers, and I think you can make an argument for, like, outside of Murray and Jokic, every position going to the Clippers, including coaching. It's not guaranteed because, I mean, I guess it depends on how you do it. But, like, I mean, I think if you put Norman and Porter against each other, I think there's an argument for Norman Powell. And then Kawhi is better than AG, Harden's better than Christian, and their bench is better than our bench, and their coach is better than our coach.
Yeah, I was even thinking, like, if you just ranked the players in the series.
Right, yeah.
I think it's Jokic and then 2 Clippers for sure, and then Harden maybe Jamal. And then I don't know how far down Jamal, you get on that list before we talked about
it. What Jamal are you getting, right?
Well, yeah.
If you're getting a banged up Jamal, Norman Powell's better than banged up Jamal.
Well, I'm never going to be recorded saying that. But yeah, I'm glad you did.
Yeah, listen, the hamstring Jamal was a thing last year, right? Like,
yeah, I mean,
Canada, Norman Powell's better than that, right? So this is a tough one, but we've kind of reached the point here. I think we should wrap it up and make our picks, I guess. You said you're really confident. You've also said this is concerning about 4 or 5 times. So I feel like you're kind of on the fence here. Which to a point, this is a close series. Like, Jokic's problems can't be overstated.
Two things just about game 1 that I want to quickly point out. Yes. To your point about Zubac being this Jokic stopper, Jokic to have a triple-double in game 1 is plus 145 right now. And I think that's picking up free money. Like, I don't understand. My
concern is, what if they just let him score 55?
Yeah, I think he still might get 10
to me are the only concern. Because I agree with you. He's getting to rebounds, he's getting to that. But if they just let him score 55, 60 and say, that's fine.
Yeah, all right. That's a fair criticism. The other
it is wild that it's anything less than like plus 200 for any other player in the league is wild. Maybe
but I'm even saying those odds in the regular season were sometimes minus.
Oh yeah,
you'd see him at minus 120 to have a triple double. Like he's on such a different planet than everybody else. If he doesn't win fucking MVP, I think I'm gonna riot. But there seems to be like kind of a quiet move towards him, which I'm not against. Like, I think it should be that way, and I'm not saying that because I did actually bet him at plus 750 or whatever when like months and months and months ago is the only futures bet I've made in years. So I've got $12 riding on this.
Come on, man. Let's
Yeah.
go.
And he's clearly the most valuable player to his team. Like if we're going by the actual
Acronym.
the most valuable player to his team, it's Nikola Jokic, and it's not fucking close. It's not that close. So do the right thing, voters. Do the right thing.
Yeah. All right.
So what's your pick?
Oh, I wanted to hear yours first. All right,
No.
Okay. I'm taking Clippers 4-2. I think this is too much to overcome. I think
do we win 2 home games at least?
Yeah. I think people are overstating the defensive resurgence based off of who we played so far. I think we're still too stupid of a defensive team with our rotations, and you just can't play crappy defense for 9 months and then be like, but we tried for 3 games. I think we got it. No, you don't. And there are going to be problems in this series that, to your point, Ty Lue is going to throw at you, that you need to have a basic understanding of how your defense should work. And the Nuggets do not have that. And so, yeah, I think the Clippers are sending them home 4-2.
I wish I felt super strongly that you were wrong. I'm going to be an optimist, and I'm going to say that the Nuggets win this series 4-3. I think Game 7 at home.
I love that.
It's sort of exercising.
Game 7, I would pick the Nuggets, to be clear.
Yeah. Exercising a little bit of those demons from Minnesota, a little bit of a high note, even if we get trounced by the Thunder in the next round, that at least we won that series against, feels actually really good after you fire your general manager and coach in the middle of the or 3 games before the end of the season.
Yeah.
So it's, I'm going to say Nuggets in 7, but the only part of this that we haven't really talked about is that we kind of own the Clippers. Historically, this has not been a friendly matchup for the Clippers. So there might be a little bit of that tight butthole syndrome if even if they get up 3-0, us coming back against the Clippers 3-0 and just devastating this team would be the most unbelievable cap to a Jokic season. Basically just in spite of this head coach basically not knowing what the fuck he's doing because he got thrust into this at the 11th hour, all of it screams that we should lose this series in kind of a horrific fashion. So
I toyed with 4-1, but I just was like, I don't know if we can I don't think we'll quit at Game 5.
Jokic is too good. He might just average 55, 15, and 15 the entire series. And
if he does that, I think we'll win.
Will this team it's nothing is out of the realm of possibility to me. He's fully entered, as Bill Simmons coined it, the Tyson zone of basketball, where you could tell me he did anything on the court and I'd be like, yeah, well, maybe. Oh, Ryan Jokic had 135 points tonight. Oh, really? Wow. That's crazy. How'd he do that?
Yeah, he's something else. But yeah, sorry, Nuggets fans. I think it comes to a abrupt halt here, but
I think yours is a much more realistic prediction, unfortunately.
Let's get producer Dan on the record here at the end. Producer Dan, what say you?
4-0 Nuggets.
Oh, baby, let's go, Dan.
I don't need Travis Johnson talking crap to us.
And it will be tough.
No, nobody needs that. Yeah.
It was funny. I will say I Travis, I brought him to a game, and I was like, oh man, the Nuggets playing so bad. Like the Clippers are going to play. I forget who we were all sitting down, but we were sitting out some guys. It was right after the wildfires, but the Nuggets just beat the hell out of them. And I almost like felt bad for him because it's like, he was dealing with a lot he had family back in LA, and I was like, Jesus, man, sorry. Like, I don't know why we decided to do this to you guys of all people. Like, we haven't wanted to play basketball this whole season. I don't know why we decided today. Shit, sorry. So it would be pretty funny if the Nuggets just decided to play basketball. It would also be pretty damning, by the way, for the Clippers and for the NBA if the Nuggets just decided to try for 3 games before the end of the season and then knocked out the Clippers and gave the Thunder a series. It'd be like, oh, shit.
Well,
maybe these players are right. Like, shit.
I really thought about it where it's like, all right, if we went on a run that was like beat the Clippers in the first round, then beat this historic Thunder team, then beat the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, and then beat the Celtics in the finals. Like, could you imagine what the amount of shit that I would be talking online if that happened? The Jokic-gasm that would be happening on this podcast.
Like, you'd have to chat GPT some of it because listen, my fingers are tired. I've been typing for all day. I have to eat sometimes. It would be a beautiful, beautiful feeling. And to be clear to all Nuggets fans, we're cheering for the team. We're going to be super happy. There's no like married to your takes or whatever. And if this series plays out different than kind of what we've outlined, we'll kind of try to break that down throughout it. Like I said, this is the best time to listen to the podcast. I think we do a really good job of analyzing the decisions within these series and like the ebbs and flows of that stuff in a way that sometimes you just don't get from
We've
other
also
podcasts or
been
national
to
things where like they just go, the Nuggets won, they played good. And sometimes we're like, well, they actually played like crap. Like, but good that they won, but like, here are the problems that we saw there, and vice versa. So I think
we've seen so many iterations of playoff teams, and this is honestly, I was thinking about it. I went for a run the other day, and I think this is the most uncertain I've ever felt going into a playoff series or into the playoffs at all. I feel like I've had
the year that we won and the highest ceiling.
The year that we won, I was like, holy shit, we are so good. Like, this team is filthy. Yeah. And then the year that we lost to the Blazers, I was like, I mean, that's kind of fine. Like, we were going to get our asses kicked by the Warriors anyway. It's like disappointing, but you kind of need those scars. Like, everything, we've been very realistic, and I'm trying to be realistic, and I have no fucking idea.
No. That, like you said, I think this is a team that the ceiling is still high, and the floor is still insanely low.
If they get past this Thunder team, I don't.
That would be a success.
You might have to hire Rick Adelman. You're right. I think you're right that if they beat that Thunder team, you should hire Rick Adelman.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Well, the next time we'll be coming to you, it will probably be. I will probably have a child.
Yeah,
a second child, and we.
Wait, what's the date that you're
due? Tomorrow.
Well, I know, but. Do you have like a date that you're for sure gonna go to the
21st? The 21st. Okay. So yeah, the next time we podcast would definitely be after that. And so at least 2 of these games will be done. We'll have seen the homestand, and I think that'll be really interesting and telling.
Yes.
And
we'll know a lot after those 2 games.
So that'll be super fun.
Are you going on Saturday?
Well, part of that depends on if I have a child in this world.
But I'm saying, are you? I mean, that's danger zone. If you're,
it's danger zone. There, it looked like the night before yesterday. It looked like it was going in the right direction, and today we've regressed progress. So I like if you would have asked me yesterday, I'd have been like, oh, she'll for sure be born. And the wife has been like very supportive. She's like, I would absolutely. She's like, I'd ask your mom or sister or somebody for help, and like you should go for whatever. So if the child is in the world, I think I would definitely go and maybe asking our other buddy who has season tickets. I may if he doesn't want to go, I may be asking if Bodie can have his ticket to make sure that the wife is then just home alone with one and
I don't know if I can control myself in a game one with Bodie.
I'll just tell him those are made up words that Uncle Ryan's saying about James Harden. Like, sometimes he's being silly. That guy, he's so silly sometimes when he talks about James. They're good friends though. That's how he feels so comfortable. But yeah,
I guess it's 1:30 on a Saturday. That's kind of prime time.
Yeah, it's kind of. But yeah, we'll see kind of what it is. But as always, go Nuggets.
Game 1 -3. How do you feel?
That's come down. It was 3.5 just when I looked this morning. I mean, that's the right zone. I think 3 is like in the NBA. It's basically money line. Like it's not right. Like I get it, but it's basically money line. And so basically any team that's in the playoffs, Eastern or Western Conference, if you told me Nuggets -6, I would be like, yeah, probably don't take that. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
But once it gets close, then you're kind of in that zone where you're like, well, if you're just kind of even, don't you kind of just trust us to execute down the stretch? At home, especially, like fans, all that.
The fans versus Memphis were the best that honestly it's been all year. Yeah. It was very good in the arena. So
we'll see kind of where we're at and what it looks like, but here we go.
I didn't know that the Calvin Booth and Michael Malone dynamic was affecting the crowd, but I'm pretty sure it was. The vibes were bad all over the place. Yeah. Man. It was percolating.
I'm sure we'll get a report on it tomorrow. So
it'll be from me. I'm the source. I've just been calling all these reporters. I got lots of intel. You wouldn't believe the shit that's happening over here.
Yeah. My God.
Slandering them both.
Yeah. All right. Well, subscribe, follow us on this journey. And Avs are gearing up too. So we're gonna be that's
and the Rockies. The Rockies are gearing up as well.
Oh, they're in park and they're staying right there, baby. They might shift into reverse here soon, so we'll keep you updated. So as soon as that kind of stuff comes out, we'll be ready.
They're gearing up for a historic
season. Jokic had a historic season, and the Rockies are gearing up for history as well. Makar as a defenseman, historic. Rockies could be historic as well.
Man, if Gabe scores in the playoffs, I'm gonna sob.
I mean, we're winning that game. I'll tell you that.
That'll be like Rory.
Score a goal at home in Ball Arena, you walk off the ice as the other team. You say, we're not putting any miles on our guys. Congratulations. You could be up 4-1.
They're going to riot in the stands.
You're going to be like, well, we had a good run here, but I can see we're going to lose now. So we'd rather not be demoralized by these 6 goals that are coming in these next 30 seconds.
Even the fans in that tiny Colorado Eagles arena, it's like, God. What are we talking about right now? Yeah. This is going to be insane. Even if he doesn't play well at all, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, just the introduction.
Must-watch TV. I'm excited. Yeah.
So, point is, tell a friend to tell a friend, and join us on this journey here. Hopefully, we have a lot of good basketball, good hockey to talk about. And Broncos draft coming up too, so we'll be able to see what we're doing. All the rumors about Alshon Genty. Please, God, don't do that. But
Ashton
Genty. Don't trade for him either. But definitely not Alshon. Definitely not him. I'm not sure who that guy is, but we don't want him. Thanks to producer Dan for producing, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Lucifer Brothers is a Crab Shell Media podcast.